conflict.
Is there any further clarity on the viability or status of this 7-point peace plan that President Putin apparently devised on the plane ride over to Mongolia?
Those long plane rides. Are you talking about the ceasefire plan that President Poroshenko has spoken about? I want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, just making sure we're talking about the same thing. President Poroshenko, I think, did again today say that he has continued his efforts to find a peaceful resolution, which may be able to implement steps to facilitate a peace plan as early as tomorrow. But the situation remains fluid. The continuing conflict in Ukraine's east does not help, and ultimately it's up to Ukraine and Russia to decide what any peace deal might look like. So that's a conversation we are certainly having with our partners, with the Ukrainians, and it's one that will continue. But again, the situation remains very fluid. I should also note that the Secretary met with President Poroshenko today at the NATO summit. He reiterated our strong support for Ukraine's sovereignty. They both agree that Russia may lay down its weapons, stop arming and financing separatists. They also discussed the talks between President Putin and President Poroshenko tomorrow. I think they're tomorrow. And as well as Poroshenko's meeting with President Obama as well. So that was a conversation that happened today at NATO.
One interesting development in the aftermath of President Putin's announcement about this plan was that the Kremlin then announced that it is the Kremlin's view that Russia would not be a party to this agreement because it is the view of Russia that Russia has not been a party to the conflict. Since the United States...
That is just like an alternate universe, that they're not a party to this conflict.
Okay, well, since the United States...
But what a ceasefire looks like is up to Ukraine and Russia to decide between each other, and a peace deal is up to them to decide between each other. But if Russia's not a party to the conflict, then where did all the Russian military people and weapons and arms and separatists come from?
Isn't there a ceasefire?
I would just put that question back to the Kremlin.
Sorry, but you mentioned the ceasefire. Isn't there a ceasefire that is supposed to take effect tomorrow?
So that's what President Poroshenko has spoken about this a little bit. Obviously, this is an ongoing conversation, but the fighting in eastern Ukraine is still fairly serious. So, you know, we're just all watching the situation.
So does that mean you don't think that the pro-Russian separatists have anything to do with or should have anything to do with a ceasefire?
That's not at all what I just said.
Oh, okay. Well, you just said it's between Kiev and Moscow.
To decide what a peace deal might look like, obviously, a ceasefire needs to include the separatists, but
And wouldn't a peace, wouldn't an agreement to end the hostilities also require them?
I mean, obviously, if there's
Yes.
going to be one that takes effect, yes, obviously.
Can we go to-
In what regards, I don't know.
Can we go to
We should
another
just do a
topic?
few more.